We have just started streaming. Let me go onto Facebook. Let's go live.
Who was the first Planeswalker? I can't remember his name.
DeLorean 5. I mean, technically Urza if you're gonna be like that. But yeah.
No, first actually printed.
Was Yawgmoth?
Because he was the one who walked from Dominaria to wherever it was, Phyrexia. And became the father of machines.
What was the first printed Planeswalker?
Johnny, Garrick, Jace, Liliana, Chandra.
Yeah, they were all printed at the same time.
Yep.
We're returning to Dominaria.
It was supposed to be Garrick, Liliana, and Jace and Future Sight, but Planeswalkers weren't ready then. What?
Who's Johnny?
Johnny?
Johnny.
Johnny the cat.
Johnny's the best.
Cat people.
He's like one of my favorite Planeswalkers. I really like Johnny.
I like his synergies.
Yeah.
That's why I like him.
He's just like super noble.
Are we all up and going now?
We're up on YouTube and Facebook, but Twitch is slow.
Yay,
slow Twitch. Super vindictive. Ready to go get. I can't wait for him to go back to Theros and try to get
Elspeth.
Get back
He's a very passive-aggressive vindictive. You know? Heliod killed Elspeth. Well, I'll go preach the anti-Heliod. Yes, he's there, but if you don't believe in him, he'll stop being there. He's a jerk.
It's true.
That was a sad story.
Why aren't we live on Twitch?
Who resurrected Elspeth, Elspeth the Returned, so to
My
speak.
favorite zombies were always the
Woods.
Heroes, faceless zombies. And think about it, Daxos was her lover, and he's actually the commander of the black-white one, the Daxos Returned deck.
Because that was part of her deal.
And so I'm thinking that would be really cool if we had
But does that mean she'll summon soldiers or zombie soldiers?
zombie soldiers, obviously.
Enchantment zombie soldiers.
Ooh! This is getting better.
Maybe.
Oh, we shouldn't be greedy or we'll never see her again.
Come
I don't know
on.
if you can fit enchantment creature zombie soldier on the...
Alright, we're up on Twitch. We're
up
good.
on Twitch? Sweet.
I got one
Welcome,
viewer.
everyone, to our judge classes this week. We've got like this week and one more week. And we would like two more weeks. We would like to thank Paragon City Games for hosting us.
Woohoo.
If you haven't already, please go check out their online store. Come in and check out the physical store. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, check out the Twitch stream. If you're on the Twitch stream, check out the YouTube or Facebook. It's a lot of fun. So today we have kind of a hodgepodge of lessons that...
We forgot.
Yeah, we forgot!
We
We're throwing together. So, today we will be talking about the Judging at Regular REL document, or the JAR, the Two-Headed Giant, and replacement effects. So let's start by talking about Judging at Regular REL. When you become a level 1 judge, one of the things you'll mostly be judging is regular rules enforcement levels. So, if you haven't, I would recommend reading the Judging at Regular document. Real quick, two-sided thing. And we will quickly go through some of the highlights of it. Let's go to the next slide.
We will go to the next slide. Where is the next
This
slide?
is not the Judging at Regular document.
This is not the judging at regular document. Oh, come on, computer. My...
We are having technical difficulties.
All the time.
Bear with us.
Please hold. Technical difficulty. Wait, am I on camera over here?
You are.
Definitely on camera
You
over
are
there.
certainly on camera over there.
How about here? Am I on camera?
You're on camera over
You're
there
on
too.
camera.
You're on camera everywhere.
You're the center of everybody's
Listen
day.
to my terrible hold music.
Yeah. We had...
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Alright. Let's go here.
All right.
Okay. So, some common issues you might run into while you're judging your regular FNM. A player forgets a triggered ability. A player sees a card in their library that they shouldn't have. A player draws more cards than they should. A player makes an error not mentioned above. So, if a player forgets
Yes.
a triggered ability, well, wait, maybe Snapcaster Mage will appear again. careful, people. He has flash. If a player forgets a triggered ability, and you feel it is not too disturbing to the game, you will put it on the stack right then. If you feel that it is disturbing to the game, maybe they missed the ability a couple turns ago. They've missed it. Too late, can't put it on the stack. One of the things that a lot of people will say is, oh wait, this isn't a May ability. All abilities, for all intents and purposes, are now May abilities. If the ability is a May ability, you just assume they chose not to do it if they missed the ability. Okay, if a player sees a card in their library that they shouldn't have, you just shuffle their library. Ask them, do you know the location of any of the cards in your library, from like scrying at the beginning of turn, scrying from some spell, Serum Visions being reprinted in Standard, or hopefully Preordained being reprinted in Standard. Going back into Modern Legality. Oh yeah. Ask if they know the location of any of those cards, set those cards aside, and shuffle the library. The card should have been random anyway, so it doesn't matter what card they're drawing, because it's random! A player draws more cards than they should have. So this happened to me during the pre-release here at Paragon City Games, where you should come and pre-release at Ixalan.
Always plug.
Exactly. I was on the draw, and the player on their first turn drew a card. The solution is you randomly select a card from their hand and put it on top of their deck. They will be drawing that card soon. Just do that and go on. A player makes an error not mentioned above. If it's a simple error, use your judgment. If it's a complicated error, use your judgment. If it's a complicated error and you're not sure, reach out to us on our
Slack channel.
Sure, the Slack channel.
No.
Or no,
Facebook channel.
Facebook group, the
Yeah.
Utah MTG Judge classes.
Mid-event?
Think.
You got it
Yeah.
right.
You got
Woo! We got there, guys.
Good job, Jeremiah.
We're not
Only do
talking
this all
mid-event,
over the classes.
correct?
What?
We're talking post-event.
You can do it in an
Post-event.
event, but just don't wait around for us to reply.
Yeah.
You can like take a jot and put it in there.
Oh, while everything's fresh to like let
Yeah.
people. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
So just as we're on this, sorry.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a notebook when you're judging. That's my recommendation. Is like try to make the call so you don't sit there and like delay the play too long, and just write it down in a notebook and revisit it later. And we'll gladly talk over with it.
So my example on this is we had a player who they shuffled all their lands into their library along with their hand. They person cast the memory side of Commit to Memory, so you shuffle your graveyard, your hand into your deck and draw.
I did
cards. So we had the player. He also shuffled his lands in.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
My solution in that case is we talked with both players, confirmed the amount of lands that he had,
What colors?
what lands he had, so went through, and then after we went through and found his lands that they knew for sure he had, I let his opponent go through and pick the rest of the lands.
Yeah.
That way he's not gaining an advantage from cheating and tells him, hey, don't do this again. Okay, so these are the common issues. Let's move on to some more unwanted behavior. These are like issues that can come up, and we just don't want these at our events.
Well, there we go.
So, a player takes an unreasonable amount of time sideboarding or making game decisions. A player shuffles their deck inadequately. A player asks for or provides strategic advice during a match or draft, or a player is constantly late to their round. Person they're playing against. So, with these, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to talk with the player. Explain to them that what they are doing is things we don't want them to do. And if they keep doing these, they may get disqualified from the event. Okay. And lastly, we have serious issues.
Why so serious?
Because the stupid science.
Wanna know how I got these scars?
Hey, you know what? You're very clever.
Patrick didn't go through the slides fast enough.
Whatever.
Oh, look, there it is. Great.
While you're bickering.
So, we've got aggressive, speaking of, aggressive, violent, harassing, or abusive behavior.
What? We are banned.
Yeah. You are cheating in the event. You are determining an outcome of a match by incentives. I will concede to you if you give me the F&M promo. Coercion. If you don't concede to me, I will hit you in the face. Or an outside the game method. Let's roll a dice. Or, you know what? I'm not feeling modern. Let's play Legacy to decide who will win this game. Or theft. If you are drafting. Ah! Falling my.
Oh god.
Wow, that was reported.
Yeah, that happened. Alrighty.
Okay.
This is time we need to like edit and cut.
Cut the video? But we're live, guys. Yeah.
Song again.
I'm gonna put this
Sorry about this, guys.
on
I don't
there.
know if we would really call this technical difficulties.
Well, that's what you do call it when you make a mistake, right?
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Okay.
That's what I say.
This week's been.
So, if you are drafting and you see a card in the sealed pool you want, in addition to the card that'll help your deck, and you swap the foil Geist of St. Traft for some other random foil you happen to have on you, you are thieving, and you will be disqualified. All of these, like these 4 things, are what you get disqualified for in a regular REL tournament. It is possible. Don't let people tell you otherwise, because that's one of the things I hear is, well, I can't get disqualified in regular level events. You can.
It's unlikely, but yeah.
This is how it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any questions on the Judging at Regular document? And like I said before, go online, read this. It's like 2 pages. Not really even 2 pages. You can print it off in front and back, and it gets the whole thing.
It's great.
Okay, so this weekend I went. Ooh, look, it's Nicolas.
Stop it.
I went to a Two-Headed Giant pre-release. Let's get Two-Headed Giant up.
Alrighty.
And Kai decided that my image for Two-Headed Giant was cute, so that's why we have it. He's so cute.
It is cute.
So, Two-Headed Giant is a way to play Magic. Different format. There are subtle differences in the way you play. Let's go on to the next slide. So, what is the same in Two-Headed Giant so you and your friend, you guys are playing Magic together. You've got resources you share, like your life total. You guys both have 30 life. Information, you can look at cards in each other's hands and make decisions together. You've got your turn cycle. When your partner is in the draw phase, you are in the draw phase. Your partner is in the declare attacker step, you are in the declare attacker step. And you share your deck pool. This means that when you open your packs for Sealed Two-Headed Giant, which is the thing you'll mostly be doing, you guys can swap cards around. So if your buddy opened the Nicol Bolas that go good in your deck, you can play it. In Constructed, it means that, ooh, look, an invocation.
So distracted.
Squirrel!
Pretty things.
In Constructed, it means that between the 2 of you, you can only have 4 of any one card except for basic lands. So if you 2 are both playing white, in Modern, between the 2 of you, you can only have 4 Path to Exiles. Not 4 each, just 4 total. Yes?
Oh, I just didn't know
This
that.
goes the same for team constructed events.
Yes.
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 All right.
Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide. What is not shared? Dun, dun, dun. Your creatures, they are your own. If you have an effect that says enchant creature you control, you can only enchant your creature. Land is your own. I cannot tap and add mana to my buddy's mana pool, so he can cast his 9-drop on turn 4. Or 5. That'd be awesome. And cards in your hand. If you have some sort of spell that or creature that says, I think it's Overbeing of Myth, his power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand, it just counts the cards in your hand, not yours and your buddy's hand. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Bum, bum, bum. And this is all important because there's usually a couple information or a couple questions on your judge test dealing with two-headed giant. There should be a slide above this.
We lost it.
Come on. What is not shared?
Try under it.
Other differences.
Yeah.
Other differences.
Correct. Okay.
Okay. So, like I said before, you guys have 30 points, or life points, or you start at 30 points. If you get 15 poison counters, you lose the game instead of the traditional 10. You get a free mulligan because this is considered a multiplayer event. Even though, like, one-on-one is still considered multiplayer, this is lots of people. So you get a free mulligan. But you don't get a draw card at the start of your first turn, even though it is multiplayer. When you go to time, you'll normally hear a judge say, Magic players, that is time in the round. Active player, finish your turn. There are 5 remaining turns. In Two-Headed Giant, you only get 3 turns instead of the traditional 5. When you are building a sealed pool, the recommended amount is 8 booster packs between you and your buddy. Granted, when you are at a pre-release, it's usually easier to say, here are 2 pre-release kits. Go, my friends, fly, be free. And if an effect says deal 1 damage to each opponent, it will affect both players. So you'll effectively deal 2 damage. Or we've got Patrick in the back doing all our tech stuff. Cast Torrent of Hellfire. Each player chooses to lose 3 life, discard a card, or sack a non-land permanent. Repeat this process X times. Affects both of you! Wow!
It's even better when you copy it.
And there's a thing. What's the thing I'm forgetting?
What are you forgetting?
When you decide to attack, you are attacking that team, but you will assign damage to 1 player. So, yeah, there's some effect that this matters for.
Like defending player loses.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Defending player will lose a life. The creature that blocks it, it'll affect. But there's... Oh, Hix's Prison Warden. That's the guy. He's got flash, and when he enters the battlefield, exile each creature that dealt you damage this turn. Something like that. If you attack my buddy who's playing mono blue, because he has all blue lands, and deal 6 damage to him with all 6 of your 1/1s, and I flash in Hix's Prison Warden after damage, it'll do nothing. But if you attack me with all 6 of your 1/1s, we take the damage, and then I flash him in, I'll go bye-bye. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The troll slide. Well, while we're going there, do we have questions on Two-Headed Giant?
With the attacking and blocking, when the other team declares attackers, can you defend your partner with your creatures?
Yes, because they are attacking you as a team, either player's creatures can block, or a combination of both. And lots of things.
There we go.
Okay, so the last thing we're talking about tonight is replacement effects. Essentially, we are replacing one effect with another. So something that says prevent damage, you are replacing the effect of taking damage with the effect of preventing it. If you get a card that says, skip your turn, you are replacing having a turn with skipping it. Replacement effects do not use the stack, and therefore can't be responded to. The big replacement effect is regeneration. That's why we got the Trollhide up. You are replacing the creature being destroyed with it is removed from combat, it is tapped, and all damage is taken off of it. And regeneration will not replace -X effects, so if it drops below 0 toughness, and it will not replace sacrificing or bury effects. Okay, let's go to the next slide.
Those are me.
Blame you.
No, you blame Worth. Here?
This is the one with Anafenza and Kalidas on it.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Sweet.
Oh, good lord.
Oh,
Oh no.
Pariah and treacherously.
yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's coming, guys. It is coming. Slack
There we
Winter. Okay, so with the ordering of replacement effects, we have Anafenza the Foremost, who has real cool abilities as a 4/4, and says if a creature would be put into opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. And then we have Kalidas, Tray of Get, that says if a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card instead and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So what do we do? Because we've got two effects that are telling us what to do. Again, these are replacement effects, so they will not use the stack. So, the player who gets to decide is the player who owns the creature that's being affected. So they can order the replacement effects how they choose. So we can order it, if this creature dies you get a zombie thing, exile it instead you get a zombie, and then if this creature would die, exile it instead, which means Kalidas happens first, boom, zombie, and then Anafenza happens next, and because the creature's already gone to exile, does nothing. Or we could order Anafenza first, the creature would die, boom, but go to exile instead. And Kalidas, Trader of Get, would then say, ooh, creature, dead, but it already went to exile, so I can't make you a zombie. So again, with this one, it is the player who's being affected who gets to choose the ordering.
Question,
effect.
what happens if your opponent has Anafenza and you have Kalidas?
Whose creature dies?
Theirs.
Theirs? Well, Anafenza says if a creature card would be put into an
Okay.
opponent's graveyard.
So because they control their creature, they will get to put use their effect before yours.
So, if they control Anafenza and the creature, their
Mhm.
creature goes to the graveyard, so Anafenza's effect doesn't matter.
Because it's only
So-
opponent's creatures.
Yeah, both of these are opponents.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Both of the effects are opponents. So
Oh, okay. So that's why.
But
That's,
if
okay.
I control both Anafenza and Kalidas,
Okay.
and your bear cub, we kill bear cubs here. If your bear cub dies, because you're the one who owns the bear cub, and it's your permanent that's being sent off into oblivion,
I see.
you get to choose the order you want the replacement effects to go in. And like I said, these do not use a stack, so there is no first in, last out
Mm-hmm.
type thing. It is you choose the order.
So I got an example later on, but if you don't remember it, so keep going.
Okay, sweet. Let's go to the next slide. This one's either the we remember what you asked us and this is the appropriate lesson, or why we hate you and you'll never come back to judge class again.
They're
Had
labeled
fun with these
so
slide
clearly.
things.
Yeah, I'm using 2 different programs and the computer's like not having it. Come on now.
You got this, computer. You can do this.
Oh no.
Why you hate us and you don't want to come back? Okay, so again we have Kalidas. If a non-token creature with an opponent controls would die, exile that creature, or exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie token onto the battlefield. And other replacement effect. If a creature, or if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, It creates twice that many tokens instead. Yes.
You covered this. I think you mentioned this when Amonkhet first came out.
Yes.
So, because if a creature an opponent controls would die via combat damage, Anointed Procession will see that and make an extra zombie. If a spell, like an instant or sorcery, if you're killing a creature and have Kalidas out with a spell, it is not an effect, and so it doesn't check. No, you won't get an extra zombie for spells that you cast that kill creatures.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Is it backwards?
Yeah. So, what it is
if an effect would create one or more. Yeah.
So, if the effect creates it, so I don't know what effects kill in standard.
Cut to ribbons.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cut to ribbons.
It's full damage to your creature.
Yeah. No, that wouldn't.
That
Because
wouldn't create it because it doesn't.
because the damage marks on it, and then the state-based actions are checked, and then it is killed, so it's not the effect that gets
Right.
See?
State-based actions kill
Kill it, not the
creatures. Yeah. And then, yeah,
Ruinous
you're
Path?
Ruinous Path is a destroy effect.
Oh,
right. Yeah,
So that would
that would kill
that
it.
would kill it.
Yep.
And so that would create a
Oh,
token.
I heard a what? What's confusing you?
No. I was
What
just like,
isn't confusing?
Yeah,
you?
no.
So those are the
this is
two
like-
best examples of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because one is
If-
dealing damage to it and it's dying to state-based actions, right?
So,
Yes.
Okay, so effects that do damage, but effects that say destroy are different.
So effects that do damage don't destroy the creature.
Yeah, 'cause it's
They'll
state-based
mark the
actions.
damage on it,
Okay.
and then when state-based actions check, they will see it has more damage
Lethal
marked
damage
on it
marked.
than the toughness, and
Okay.
it'll put it. The state-based actions will put it in the graveyard.
Okay.
Whereas destroy effects are affecting it, so they'll destroy it, and then that will put it into the graveyard. And because it's the effect that destroyed it,
Same with
you'll
combat
get two
damage.
zombies.
It would deal damage marked onto it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get state-based actions will destroy it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. We got this. Between the five of us.
Does this mud puddle clear?
It is
Makes
certainly
sense.
clear.
Quiz then, -X, is that a destroy effect, or is that a state-based action?
Sounds like state-based action.
State-based
check.
action.
Absolutely.
Good
Yes.
job.
Yep.
Because
Zero
there is
toughness.
0 for this toughness, state-based action checks.
So does the toughness change when you deal damage onto it?
No.
No.
Okay, good.
Right.
How about a sacrifice? Would that one be a destroy effect?
It's not an actual destroy effect.
That
It
yeah.
would work the same for this type
So
of.
does it? So it doesn't matter if it's destroyed with this effect with Kalidas. It says if it would die.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a sacrifice effect, would it work?
You would
in
get the
this
same
instance?
result of what you were looking for.
Kind of.
Kind of. Oh no.
Kind of. If I play Bantu's Trial of Ambition,
Yes.
target player sacrifices a creature.
Yes.
That effect happens, you sacrifice a creature. If you cast Eldritch Evolution as an additional cost, sack a creature, the creature isn't being sacrificed due to an effect, it
It's
is
an
being
additional cost.
sacrificed due to a
Uh-huh.
cost.
Got it.
Perfect.
So do you hate us
Yay.
yet and not want to come back?
No.
If we didn't love these kind of anal retentive details, we wouldn't be magic judges.
Yeah.
This will
Okay.
be simplified in the future. I bet you. Keep going.
Let's go to
The final slide,
Woo!
wherever we are here.
Well, I guess this is just Tony, but I think it'll be simplified later on. Just like split cards were simplified, but I could be.
There we go.
Okay, so, like way back when in our second lesson, we were asked what happens if we enchant a creature with Pariah and Treacherous Link. Pariah says all damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to the enchanted creature instead. And Treacherous Link says essentially all damage that would be dealt to enchanted creature is dealt to you instead. Or the other way around.
You direct all to its controller, all damage dealt to enchanted creature.
Yes. Yay! I kind of can read cards. So, this was one of the things we were asked, and we said, We will get to it when we do our lesson on replacement effects. This is the lesson. Okay,
Glad you remembered
so
that.
replacement effects are only applied once. Otherwise, cards like Doubling Season, if you got 2 of them out, it'd be like, okay, double again, but wait, I put more tokens on here, so double, but wait, more tokens, and the game would end in a draw, because there would be no break, because you have to put the tokens on. So, replacement effects are only applied once, and then they go away. So in this case, Treacherous Link, redirect all damage dealt to enchanted creature. So we shoot the creature with a lightning bolt. Treacherous Link is applied, the damage is dealt to me. Then Pariah is applied, and the damage would be dealt to the creature instead. So like I said, the effects are only applied once, and that way we don't get an infinite loop of, well, it's dealt to me, well, it's dealt to the creature, dealt to me, dealt to the creature.
Is that a timestamp thing?
No, it does not matter the order in which we play these in. So, if we're going to instead bolt I think that time we bolted the creature. So this time we'll bolt me. The damage is then through Pariah dealt to the creature, but then through Treacherous Link dealt back to me.
Okay.
So you're
it's
not
what
picking
is
the
it?
order with this.
So it's a
I'm-
non-bow,
No.
essentially.
It just depends on what your first target is. If your
Yeah.
target's the player,
Yeah, essentially they cancel each other
yeah.
Essentially.
essentially.
Yep.
Okay, sweet.
Sweet.
Well, that's all I got. Did I cover
Yeah,
your thing?
We have another example. I got a pop quiz for this guy, basically, and you.
Okay.
So we have,
Pop quiz by Tony.
I think you might already know this one, so if you don't know it, if you do know it, don't say
Yeah,
anything.
sure.
So we have a card called Notion Thief. Anybody know Notion
I do know
Thief?
this one.
Isn't that if an opponent would draw a card, or draw it,
If it's not the first
Yeah.
card, yep, you get to draw it
you
instead,
that
right?
card instead.
So what if I'm playing a stupid deck called Dredge, and I go to and I go to play like Faithless Looting, and I want to dredge? Can I dredge with that? 2 replacement effects, because dredge is a replacement effect. It replaces your draw, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And then you have Notion Thief, which is if your opponent has Notion Thief, can you dredge?
I'm gonna put this on Twitch. I do know the answer. We talked about this last night.
Yep.
I need to read the dredge ability.
Sure.
Dredge is complicated.
I'm putting it up on Twitch.
I
and
love.
Life from the Loam.
Who
Yeah,
doesn't
I
love
just-
Dredge?
I know, right? I just put up. That was the card I chose as Loam, because Loam was the best. And then no
She would
card. Notion.
It's actually really simple once
It
you
is.
think about it. And we talked about the answer while we were talking today. So you actually don't need to think about it. So we just said they're both replacement. You don't need to read it. So they're both replacement effects, and they're both affecting you. How would you do it? So you're trying to dredge. I have the Notion Thief. I own it, and it says if my opponent, which is you, would draw another card, present its first card, I get to draw it instead. So how would you handle? How do those 2 effects that are affecting you get handled?
Wouldn't the
You're overthinking it, I promise.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I've like inhaled. too
Let's
much
go back to the
acid.
first example, the very first one.
The
Anaphens
Trollhide
and
or
Kalidas.
Anaphens and Kalidas?
Anaphens.
Anaphens and Kalidas.
Do you remember that one? How did we handle Anaphens and Kalidas when you had both of them?
You would choose how.
How you get order it?
Yeah, how you get.
Because they're both
order.
affecting the similar thing, right?
Right.
And they're both affecting you, or because your opponent controls those. So you got to choose them, right? You got to put them on the stack because they affected you.
Is it? Okay.
You don't put them on the stack.
Well, you get
Yeah.
to do them in an order
Okay,
of your
so
choice.
the owner isn't the one who chooses. You as the player get to choose, or you as the.
Person who's affected
This
by
is the key
Oh, okay.
rule.
Yeah.
This is the important one.
Okay.
Do you want to?
Person who's affected or controller of object, which is being affected.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we really want to get at. The first example. Notion Thief. I own it, but you're trying to draw cards. So that effect is trying to replace your draw. Are you being affected by it, or am I being affected by it?
Me. So I would get to choose.
And then you are also trying to dredge, so that affects you also to
Right.
replace your draw.
So
you-
couldn't I dredge first and then you would get to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But-
No. It replaces it. It
Oh,
replaces
okay.
your draw, so that other effect is not there anymore to draw this.
Gotcha.
Since you chose to dredge, the card is no longer
that's
being
right, 'cause you were
drawn.
Drawn. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But then again, maybe they have like 2 cards
Yeah.
in their deck
Yeah.
because Notion Thief has been out for a while. So you're like, you know what? You can replace it first.
Yeah. The way
Die, sucker.
the way if you're not actually drawing with dredge, it says if you would draw a card, instead you may put exactly X cards
Okay.
from the top of your library into your graveyard. If you do, return this card
So-
from your graveyard to your hand.
So of course you're not drawing. It's replacing your draw. That's
Yes.
what we're getting at.
Yep.
Yeah. But it does get affected by Notion Thief because if you would draw, is what it says. So even though you're replacing your draw with dredge, it's still, if you chose to, you can let Notion Thief take that effect and let them draw the card. But
Okay.
it's up to you in
And
which
then
order.
you wouldn't get to dredge, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it.
Do
Yeah.
we have questions from you, our
Just
streaming
chat.
audience?
I'll
Twitch
turn it out
chat,
there.
YouTube chat, Facebook chat.
Dredge is fun. I love dredge. It breaks
out
the
there.
game really fast.
Questions? Yeah. I'm excited to play it in Modern.
Yay.
Well,
Yeah.
while we wait for questions,
Sure.
thanks once again to Paragon City Games for hosting our judge classes. If becoming a certified judge is something you want to do, please stop by Paragon City Games, because one of the requirements is you need to judge at least 2 events. And we would like to supervise you judging one of them to make sure you get all this. Let's see.
You had a
we-
comment?
Just one more thing that is important for when you're testing. If an event is replaced, it never happened, and so any
Oh,
triggers
yes.
that are looking for that event will not be triggered.
So, my grotesque experience, I play Marin of Clan Neltoth EDH.
That's your first problem.
And
Hey.
she is beautiful. And
Nice
I have a
lady.
friend who does not like Marin for some reason. And she plays Anafenza the Foremost. So when all my things die, because I sacrifice them all to various effects, and her Anafenza's out, I get no experience, because everything gets exiled and Marin triggers on death. It is the worst.
Sounds like the best time to me.
No.
No merit.
Leave the class, Tony. Okay.
No questions from the chat so far.
Great.
Great.
So if you want to become a certified judge, please come out to Paragon to judge events, or reach out to us so we can go
Meet up with
observe you judging events at your store. We only have 2 more classes in this session, so
Maybe only one.
1 or 2. So, get in touch with us fast if becoming a judge is something you want to do. Other than that, are there Paragon events you would like to mention coming up soon?
Sure. Don't break anything. Don't break anything. Okay, cool.
You didn't break anything.
I didn't break anything. Woohoo!
Look,
So
the door handle's fixed.
yeah.
Tony, go pull on that for a bit.
So this week we have a Thursday Popper event. We'll be doing Paper Bandless Rules. That'll be at 7 o'clock. We host X-Wing every week. Trying to think what else that we're doing that's new. This is release weekend. On our ads that are floating on the Twitch stream, there are times for drafts that we'll be handing out this special Rumnef Excavator promo. So come play some release weekend drafts. That's about it.
Sweet. Come get your boxes and your bundles.
That's it. We'll
of
be open at
our
midnight.
Devastation.
So on Thursday. So we'll be doing a midnight draft for any of those who are interested. It's available. So.
Thanks. Patrick, you're the best.
What? No way.
Don't break anything.
What? Don't break anything. Don't break anything. Did it.
All right, guys.
Thank
See you next
you
week.
for watching.
Bye, guys.
Unfortunately, you get me
Ladies and
next week.
gentlemen.
Tony.